All right, so in this example, a leading mobile phone service provider advertises its services in 3 magazines: Cosmopolitan, People, and Time. A survey of 500 customers by the mobile phone service provider reveals the following information. Okay, so we have all this information laid out for us. So I'm not going to read through it. You can read through it if you want to. But basically, we're going to take all this information and try to put it in a Venn diagram. We have 3 categories, right? Our categories are cosmopolitan, people, and time. I don't know who actually. I don't think Time even. I don't think Time even has a print magazine anymore, if I remember right. I don't know. I don't know anybody who reads magazines anymore, but this might be an old question. But well, we can still use it as an example. So we're going to take this information and put it in a Venn diagram. Now, I haven't even read the question yet, but we know it's going to be a Venn diagram question. So unfortunately, it's my screen isn't big enough. But let's take a look at, we got 3 categories, right? We got 3 categories of people. Some people learned of the service from Cosmopolitan, so I'm going to call them C. Some people learned about the service from People magazine. So I'm going to call that P. And another category of people learned from Time magazine about this service. All right, and I'm going to draw a box around the whole thing to represent all of the people who were surveyed. So that's our universal set. And let's just start putting the numbers on the diagram. Okay, so what do they tell us? Let's scroll back up so we can see a little bit more. 180 people learned of its services from Cosmopolitan. Now, some people may have learned from more than one source, so I'm just going to write 180 on the line. 200 people learned of the service from People, so from People magazine. So I'm going to write 200 on the line there. And then finally, 192 people learned of the service from Time magazine. So 192. Okay. All right, and then we're given information about the numbers of people who learned from a combination of sources. Okay, so it says that 84 learned of its services from both Cosmopolitan and People. So the intersection of those 2 sets is, right in here. And so I'm going to write 84 on the line, because that intersection has really 2 parts, because some of those people also learned of the service from Time. 52 learned of the service from Cosmopolitan and Time. Okay, so that's this intersection between C and T. So I'm just going to write 52 on the line. And then 64 learned from both People and Time. So I'm just, again, on the line that represents the intersection, I'm just going to write the 64 because I don't know how to split it up yet. And then finally, we're told that 38 learned of the service from all 3 magazines. So that I can write right in the center. This should be 38. 38 people learned of the service from all 3 magazines. Okay, and then we ask a bunch of questions about, how many saw the manufacturer's advertisement in at least 1 magazine, exactly 1 magazine, and none of these publications. All right. Let's see. I think we're also told up here that there were 500 customers surveyed. Okay, so I should probably put that on this line too. So 500 represents everybody in the survey, which is our universal set. All right, well, let's just start in the middle and work out. All right, so I think what I'll do is I'll change colors, because all the green numbers were given numbers. Anything I'm writing now, I'm going to write in red, and those will be the numbers we've calculated. So, basically we just we know that the intersection between Cosmopolitan and People is 84. We already have 38 accounted for. So if we subtract 38 from 84, we get 46. So 46 people learned of the service from Cosmopolitan and People, but not Time. Okay, so we'll just keep working our way around. 52 people are in the intersection of Cosmopolitan and Time. 38 are already accounted for because they also learn from People. So if we subtract, we get 14 people learn from Cosmopolitan and Time, but not People magazine. And then finally, again, we have another intersection between the people who learn from People magazine And Time Magazine, 38 also learned from Cosmopolitan, so we have to have 26 that learned from People and Time, but not Cosmopolitan, because the whole intersection has to add up to 64. And again, we just keep working our way around. The number of people who learn from Cosmopolitan has to add up to 180, and we've already got a number of people represented. If we add up 46 and 38 and 14, okay, so let's see, what is that? 40, 52, 52, 98, 98, I think. 98, we subtract that from 180, we get 82. Okay, you can check my math if you want to, but I'm just basically taking the 180 and subtracting all of the regions that we have already accounted for. And we just keep working our way around. If I take 200 and subtract the number of people we've already accounted for, I get 90. And down here, we have 192 people who learn from Time. Some of them are already accounted for because they learned from multiple sources. So 114 learned only saw the advertisement in Time. Okay, so basically we've accounted for everybody in the regions in these three circles. Okay, so we can essentially just add up all of those values. So part A, all of these people in all three circles learn from at least one magazine. Some of them learned from multiple magazines, but all of the people within the three circles learned of the service from an advertisement in at least one magazine. So basically what they're asking for is the number in the union, C union P union T. Okay, and so I could write it like that. I don't have to write, it's not asking for the set notation, but I'm throwing it in there for your benefit. All right, so I'm just going to say, okay, well, I know this whole circle here is 200, right? So I'm going to take the 200 and then I'm going to add on the 82 and the 14 and the 114. So add 82 plus 14 plus 114. Okay, so I put that in my calculator and I got 410 people learned from at least one magazine. All right, part B is asking how many learned from exactly one magazine. Okay, so exactly one, those are those people who learned only from Cosmopolitan or only from People or only from Time, not a combination of any of them. So what we want there are the values that are just, these values that are outside. They're not in the intersection of any two circles. Okay, so what I need to do is just add up 82 plus 90 plus 114. Oops, 114. And when I do that, I get 286. Okay, those people learned from only one source. Okay, either just Cosmopolitan, but not People or Time. Just People, but not the other two. Or just Time. Okay. All right, and then finally, how many people learned of the service from none of these advertisers? So what we're asking for there is the number outside the three circles. So there were 510 people, or sorry, what am I saying? There were 500 people surveyed. 410 of those are represented in the union, right, of all these circles, right? So because we already figured that out. So basically we can just take 500 minus 410, right? 410 are represented inside the circles. And so 500 minus 410 are how many people are outside the circles. So that gives us 90. 90 people learned from none of these publications. Alrighty, well, I guess that's all the examples I have, and you're ready to take a look at the discussion questions, and I'll see you in class.